All right, Tyler, what do you got for us?
All right, we've been talking a lot about Ryan Poles, and his biggest blemish so far as a member of the Chicago Bears has obviously been the Chase Claypool trade that clearly did not work out. But when you look at everything that he's done to rebuild that wide receiver room and everything else he's done to replenish the roster and get the Bears where they are right now, has Ryan Poles completely put that and erased that off of his resume when you look at the current state of the Chicago Bears?
I don't think it'll ever completely go away, Tyler, but I think that he's made it a whole lot easier to deal with at this particular time because of what he's done inside that receiver room, for sure.
I always tell you this, I always bring this comp up. Early in Theo's tenure here, he traded DJ LeMahieu to Colorado, who ended up being a multi-time batting champion for, who was it, Ian Stewart?
Yep.
Who was a bust, who they had to DFA, basically, because he was a bad guy, too. And then they just chased him out of town. Like, again, like Derek was saying, every great general manager takes a swing. They think they're making the right move. And I thought it was a good try. Like, we talk about the process. It was a young wide receiver who was athletic and strong and tall. And he scouted him and he liked him. And so he thought a change of scenery would do him good. And we needed to see more from Justin. So we needed some talent with Justin. So we got him a guy, and he was a dud. But yeah. I didn't think it was a bad try. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a 31-year-old at the end of his. He thought he was a building block type of guy, and I don't fault him for that. You miss.
Not just that, but he was trying to evaluate the quarterback that he had as well. So what he was trying to do is give that quarterback a little bit more to work with. Yes. So I understand why he did what he did. And again, I think that he would tell you that he had Chase Claypool rated pretty highly coming out of college, as a lot of people did. Again, he's gonna make mistakes, but I turned the page on Claypool a while ago. And it's not off of his record, but it's forgotten to me. I look into that wide receiver room right now, and I'm more than thrilled.
And what I've always said, Tyler, is I give him so much credit because a year later, at the exact same time at the trade deadline, he did the exact same thing with the defensive end, though, with Montez Sweat, and that one worked. So same premise, same process. But this one ended up working, and the Claypool one just didn't work. So you got to continue to swing for the fences, and you're not always going to hit a home run.
And again, I'll reiterate what I said earlier. He was also entrusted with having to evaluate the quarterback, and there was no way he was going to be able to do that with the crew that he had currently on the roster. So he was trying to get a better view of who Justin was by adding, another talented player. So,
all right, the White Sox lost their 7th game in a row today. They are now 31-104 on the season. It's like I get whiplash every time I see that. I have to double check it every time when I see their record in the standings. But when you look at the NFC North, will the NFC North have more wins than the Chicago White Sox for this season?
Good prop bet.
Now, I'll give you a little bit of context here, all right? The last 3 years, the winningest division in football have had 43, 43, and 40. And the White Sox have, 57 games left to go?
12, 11, 10. That's what is that?
12, 11, 10.
33?
25 games to go.
What is 12, 11, and 10? Is that 33?
That is 33, yes.
And then 6? 39. I'll say yes. I've got 39 wins for the NFC North.
So they have how many games left? They got 135. So they've got 27 games
27.
left?
Yep.
Yeah, they're only going to win 38 or 39 games.
Yeah, they're on pace for 30, just above 37 right now.
I'll go with wins, total wins in the NFC North.
I've got the Lions with 12. I've got the Packers with 11. I've got the Bears with 10. And I've got the Vikings with 7 or 6.
Isn't that crazy? To think that the
That's
White
how
Sox
I get to 39 or 40. Yeah.
They cannot outwin a team like or a entire football division.
Yeah.
When you play 162.
It's insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. I didn't know where you were going when you were talking about the White Sox, and the next thing I knew, you mentioned the NFC North, but that's a hell of a prop bet. That's a hell of one. Is Lola okay?
Yes.
Okay.
All good. Yeah. She almost got hit by a car earlier.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
She ran out the front door, something she's never done. And my wife, thankfully, was able to get out there and make sure she doesn't get hit by a car.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a really weird 48 hours for the Waddle family.
All right, what do you got?
All right, the Cubs are fresh off of their sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have won 9 of their last 12 games. However, when you go to the wild card standings, they still sit 5.5 games back of the Atlanta Braves for that last spot. The Braves starting a 4-game series against the against the Phillies, while the Cubs have 3 against the Nationals this weekend.
They have to make hay here.
I ask you guys, the Cubs will feel real as a playoff contender when what?
When they go on a win streak and the Braves go on a losing streak. You want the math? Waddle, you want the math here?
Yeah, give me the math. I was going to say once they get inside 3 games. But
so again, I've been telling you this. Even though the Cubs swept the Pirates, they did not gain a single game in the standings because the Braves continued to win against the Twins. I believe they swept the Twins. So they're 5.5 back in the loss column at 6. That's what matters. Because they lose the tiebreaker, they have to make up 7 games in order to make the playoffs. So there's 7 back in the loss column to make the playoffs. The Cubs have 28 games left. The Braves have 29. So let's say the Braves, who have a 549 win percentage, play that the rest of the way, right? They play their standard win percentage the rest of the way. That's a 16-13 record the rest of the way for the Braves. So they continue to play 549 baseball at 16-13. Do you know what the Cubs have to go?
They've got to play 750 baseball.
They have to go 22-6. That's if the Braves go just 16-13 at just over 500 baseball. Now, if the Braves slip a little bit and they go 14-15, let's say because they're playing the Phillies, they've got a couple of other tough series. Let's say the Braves all of a sudden get cold and they go under 500 and go 14-15 the rest of the way. The Cubs still have to go 20-8. Do you believe that is possible?
Possible.
I don't.
I don't really. I think it's more possible now than I did before. Like what they've done best recently is take care of the teams they're supposed to take care of. Like when you drop a game against a Marlins team that you should sweep, that's when you start to lose faith in them.
Right.
But I mean, I told you this the other day. I know everyone's looking for the postseason. If I was a Cubs fan, what I would be most intrigued by and excited about is what I've seen from PCA and my catcher, who's 25 years of age.
Yeah. PCA's been great. He was on base 5 times, I believe.
Yes.
Like the stats, something with Ron Santo under a certain age, getting on base that many times. And as Meller pointed out, when they walked him, he had 4 hits and a walk. They intentionally walked him because they didn't want him to do more damage. And that's how hot he's been.
Which is such a change from what we saw in the month of July, because the month of July was a lot like June, and it wasn't very good. It was a lot of weak contact, and his strikeout to walk ratio wasn't good. He's got what has he got? I think because they're off today, I believe. He's got a 980 OPS in the month of August. And Amaya has got a 1014 OPS in the month, and he also hit 333 last month. So, like, his stretch has been even more impressive, and it's lasted longer than PCA. So, I don't know that you're going to get to the postseason, but if your 25-year-old catcher and your 22-year-old center fielder prove that they belong, you're taking a huge step forward. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's good stuff there.
Only for them to not spend in the offseason and run it all back.
that better not be the case, Tyler. They got a lot of money to spend.
Yep. All right, real quick, last one here. The college football week 1 is underway tonight, and one of the premier games is Colorado taking on North Dakota State. Deion Sanders has had himself quite the offseason, and maybe not for the best of reasons. He has been in the news lately for banning a reporter from asking questions at his press conferences. He also refused to answer another reporter's from CBS Denver because of a story that was written by CBS National. And on top of that, he was on Twitter crapping on a bunch of guys who transferred out of his program as well. Has Deion Sanders gone from being one of the heroes of college football to the biggest villain in college football?
I think this is who Deion's always been, isn't it? Deion's always had the look at me, and he's always been prime time for good or bad. And there's been some bad in there too. And he doesn't run from it. And he's had run-ins with lots of people.
Yeah, so, the one difference is, and the one thing that because I think I'm a big fan of Deion Sanders.
Me too.
Obviously, as a player and as a personality and all kinds of things. I think the situation that has developed between him and the press is probably the one thing that is not what I would have expected from Deion, and that's kind of the one thing that I wish would reverse course.
Well, and I like North Dakota State tonight with the points. What is it, 9.5?
It's moved to 10.5.
10.5. Like, I would hop on that, especially going over 10.5 now, going over 10. North Dakota State's a good team. They're in our conference, the Saluki Conference, the Missouri Valley, and they are always one of the best FBS teams.
FCS.
Yeah. FCS.
They're like the Alabama of FCS.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. They're always great. And
this is a public bet, right? This is a bet, Tyler, that is enhanced by the public. That's why
playing Colorado. Yes.
The weird thing is that I saw this it was just on ESPN a second ago. The spread has gone from 9.5 to 10.5, which is over a key number of 10. But on top of that, the total has gone down 5 points. And that, to me, I could not believe.
You're getting good value then.
Well, if the total's going down 5 points, that's telling me that Colorado's, like, the books are telling you that Colorado's going to blow them out.
Yeah,
I can't get behind. I don't think that's the case.
I'm excited to watch this game. Maybe Colorado does come out hot like they did last year, but I think it's a 7 o'clock game, or 6 or 7.
7 o'clock, I believe.
So, all right, good stuff. Aki's A-List.